Yes, I know Tika Sumpter is pregnant. Why I'm not celebrating? September 14, 2016, Christelyn Karazin, 166 comments. When I heard the news that actress, Tika Sumpter, was expecting her first child, I was genuinely happy for her. I have followed her career since she first came on the scene with now cancelled soap opera, One Life to Live. Her character in that show was involved with a handsome Latino man, and I enjoyed seeing that bearing on television. Then she joined highly rated nighttime soap opera, Have Not, and while cheesy, the success of the show and her acting has refined, as well as her breathtaking beauty. When I heard that the father of her child, co-star Nick James, was a white guy, and they weren't married, I just couldn't muster up the excitement surrounding their swirly union, so I stayed mum. In a recent interview with magazine Fit Pregnancy, Tika says that she was involved with her boyfriend a year and a half before she discovered she was pregnant on Valentine's Day. When asked about getting married, she said that she'll get around to it, maybe, but that her relationship with her boyfriend is not defined by a ring. One of the aspects childbearing within marriage is the notion of legacy building. It's not just about a ring, a house and the picket fence. It's about consolidating and building generational wealth and securing your bloodline. Yes, Tika is a well-paid star, and more than likely she and her baby will be fine whether or not the father marries her. But what I'm really worried about is the example she gives to young black girls and women who look up to her and see that she was open to finding love across color lines, but carried over practices and cultures that have not served the black community well in any stretch of the imagination. The census data for 2015 has just been released, and so far wages and salaries have gone up in virtually every category except for single-parent households. So if you're not a beautiful actress and you have a baby without a husband or committed life partner who understands the idea of generational wealth, then there's a good chance you're setting yourself and your child up for a very difficult, hard-scrabble existence. My goal with this platform is not to celebrate every interracial union or byproduct of that union regardless of the circumstances. I want black women to win. I want them to start thinking beyond the next year or 5 years. I want them to understand that the choices that they make can have a long-term benefits, or long-term consequences. A smart and crafty woman secures her well-being and that of her children and doesn't think that love is a band-aid for the unexpected hiccups. It's time to stop pretending that the life choices of many black people are the reasons why we as a collective don't prosper. Look at Chelsea Clinton, Ivanka Trump. They understand the importance of merging their lives with men equally matched in education, background and finances, and are building a legacy in which the children they produce will benefit long after they're gone. Tika is still my girl, but I can't back her on this one.
Well. Just can't make this shit up. And the clip that you just heard was from a post by Christelyn Karazin from her blog Beyond Black and White. And the Swirling Queen is talking about something that disappoints her sorely. In her estimation, she tells black women to leave black men in Blackistan because if they do that, they will leave all their ills behind. Because naturally, the black man is to blame for everything. Abortion, out-of-wedlock births, intergenerational wealth, non-marriage, all that stuff is blamed sorely on the backs of black men. But just when the swirlers thought it was safe to go back into the water, the great white shark leaps up and nips at their heels and bites them in the ass. Now, you would think that this would be an ideal situation for the swirling community to get behind and celebrate. A young, beautiful black woman with fame and wealth and a promising career, with a good-looking alpha male who's white, successful, and famous. They would be the perfect trophy couple for the Wigtows and the swirling community. What do they beat black men up about constantly? We don't build. We abandon our children. We don't marry the mothers of our children. We leave babies out of wedlock. We don't believe in marriage. We're irresponsible with our penises. And if it wasn't for our irresponsibility and lack of maturity, things like this wouldn't happen in the black community. Now, it would be perfectly understandable if Tika Sumpter was a ratchet urban ghetto queen who was about 16, 17 years old with no hopes and no education. But she isn't. She's a very famous actress in her mid-20s, I do believe. Very well established, has a career on the upswing, and has black and white men flocking and falling at her feet. Now, it would be different if Nick James was a meth head or a trailer park white guy with no prospects or future, a slacker, if you will. But he's not. He's in the same class as she is. So all in all, this is the perfect storm, right? But you know what the problem is? As you heard in the article, Miss Sumpter says a ring and a wedding does not define her, or the relationship with her white baby's daddy, which is not all that unusual amongst millennials, and especially black millennials. But it reminds me of something I've always said. There's not a dime's worth of difference between the six-figure girl, or in this case, maybe even the seven-figure girl, and the hood rat. We all suffer from the same pathology. As you can see with Tika Sumpter, she left Blackistan, but guess what? Blackistan didn't leave her. She's carrying the same pathology, the same thought process that she had, or other black women have, in the urban community. All Blackistan did was relocate to a new zip code and carry the pathology there. That old saying, you can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the girl. Now, I don't know much of Miss Sumpter's background, and from what I see of her and the way she talks, I assume that she lived a middle to upper middle class lifestyle as a girl growing up. But as Patrick Moynihan says, the cultural pathology carries forth no matter what class of black person there is. It seeps into the whole community. Now that pathology is crossing color lines. That's why it has Christelyn shaking her head. No matter what you preach or whether you change the situation, environment, or location of black women, culture is very, very sticky. It's very hard to change. A lot of the cultural patterns we've carried with us through Africa, through slavery, and through Jim Crow into the future. Breaking that culture starts with each individual person, number one, and the parents, number two. But black women think black men can heal them from that cultural pathology. It's not very true, because every time they make a mistake and replicate the out of wedlock birth, they're recreating the same situation that they were born into, or that the community was born into. And until black women take responsibility for their part of the fuckery that goes on in the BC, it's never going to get fixed. Just the same way if black men cross over and they get a woman of another race, but they carry the same pathology with them, the same ideology with them without cleaning it up, the hood is actually going to follow you. But I'm going to make this short. I just had a chuckle. This is just an example of what I've been talking about on this channel, in front and in your face. And I'm going to put this into the you can't make this shit up category. And I hope you guys will get the same kind of laugh and chuckle that I got out of this. So Queen CK, this one's for you, and my hat's off to you. I can say one thing for her. She took this L with grace. And no tears this time. With that, I'm going to sign off. This is BGS out.